Hi, I am Allie Camilletti, and you are listening to Snack Leadership. I will be talking about everything leadership, broken down into bite-sized pieces. You will hear what different leadership skills look like in organizations and how they can rise teams up or take them down. I help leaders build resilience and improve performance by bringing awareness to opportunity behaviors in my business. Spark your mindset. I provide leadership and sales coaching, as well as team building and guest speaking. My hope is for you to feel inspiration and to create a spark in your mindset. Hi everyone. Today we are talking about time management. Time management is the ability to use one's time effectively or productively, especially at work. So you had the pleasure of hearing Vaughn give you great insight on time management with his experience. And I have another recording about time management that was recorded back in May of 2021, where if you're like, I really need some helpful tips, go listen to it. But today, I'm going to shift things a little bit. We're going to talk about my journey with time management this year. And as you have heard in the May 2021 recording, I talk about time management's my thing. I love it. I feel like I'm good at it. And it's something that I enjoy. Like sitting down and blocking out my calendar, it's kind of fun for me. It makes me feel like I have a sense of control, like I know what's happening. It's awesome. Well, I'm going to share with you today what happened this summer when time management went a little differently for me. As I had blocked everything out, I knew going into the summer, this was going to be different for me. My daughter, for the first time, was doing 50-50 with my ex-husband. And what that looked like is she was with him one week and with me another week. Big picture, what it looked like is we had 2 weeks each month of the summer to do something fun and be together. So my plan at the start was to actually not work every other week. And it kind of worked, and I had a backup plan, like just in case I had somebody that I could reach out to as a resource so that I could do coachings. But then as we got into it and I made plans for us to be different places, and whether it be camping or take trips, didn't really allow for a lot of extra time. And I thought I had it all down, right? Literally every other week, we were either camping or taking a trip or doing something special. For basically 4 out of the 7 days, it felt manageable until I got to the first part of August. And then I was exhausted. I was starting to get exhausted in July, but I started really getting tired. And what I ended up doing is I ended up having to cancel one of the trips that I was really looking forward to so much. Good friends, they had moved, and I really wanted to spend time with them. But I also knew there was no way I was going to be my best self. I was exhausted. And as we back up, I had been coming off of a trip that I had done with my daughter down to Yosemite, where literally we drove 9 hours one way, spent 2 days, which one of them was in Yosemite. And if you've ever been to Yosemite, you're just doing all the stuff. You're trying to get it all done in one day. That's all you have. And so you're moving like fast. We had one relaxing day where we hung out next to the pool and just spent time with the family. And then drove back 9 hours. And then I went straight into work, followed by then having my mother come and we went camping. Then I went straight into a retreat. And in there in the middle was a 3-day music festival. So you can just imagine 2 weeks of this. And then I went into 4 days of the best soul, filling, heart touching retreat that I had scheduled for myself time for me to really look deeply into who I am today, where I've come from, and where I want to go in the future. And that is what set me into this place of, wow, I'm exhausted. All right, Allie, you've been doing all this stuff. 3-day music concert, amazing. Again, that fills my heart with live music, of course, but also that's a lot of out in the heat and live music. And then camping, and then going into this retreat I did. And what I left the retreat with was a mantra of unconditional love. So I was given the opportunity to live what I was putting out there as something that I wanted and was going to be my focus. And that was canceling. So hard. I still have that pleaser in me, and it was really hard for me to do. And it took me a couple days, but then afterwards I was like, yes. It allowed me to just have good one-on-one, just being time with my daughter. And since the week was pretty much blocked out except for the Friday, I consciously did not plan anything. I did not focus on planning anything. And so we had gone to a live concert with my daughter the night prior, and she was exhausted the next day. We were supposed to be driving and leaving, and driving about 10 hours. And what ended up happening is she woke up feeling sick. I was like, oh, so we both need it this time. And she shifted pretty quickly after waking up being sick, but it was the focus of not filling my calendar. And that is really hard for me to do because I have a lot of things I like to do. I like to hike. I like to camp. I like to go to concerts and go to events. And what I started to do is I didn't put it in the calendar, but I consciously knew we could do something, one thing each day that we would kind of know we were going to do. And I didn't do that until later in the week. So this was starting out as a Saturday that we had, and she didn't feel that great. And then it wasn't until Thursday where we went to Munch and Music, which is an event that we have in our community in the evening. And then the next day, Friday, we did a night market. But I consciously didn't plan anything. And what that looked for us was getting up in the morning, not having a schedule. I love to lay in bed and wait for her to wake up, and then we can have some cuddle time where we just hang out and talk about what we're doing for the day and relax. And then a relaxing breakfast, and then we do what we call the scoot and jog. She's on her scooter, and I kind of get in a jog a little bit. And it was great. It was so good. There's something about the importance of being bored, and it's hard for me. Like, I've had days where she has gone to her father's house and I didn't have anything scheduled, and I want to go schedule something, and I have to stop myself because I'm like, no, Allie, boredom is good. Boredom creates creativity for me. It rejuvenates me. It's essential. And it's one of the things I feel like with kids these days, they are overscheduled as well. And so really focusing on not overscheduling. And so here I am, just coming off of that time. You're going to be hearing this recording in October, which is classic because come mid-September, my business is gangbusters again for a few months. Like I would say going into December, and then we go into holidays. And why that is it's just the cycle of the clients I work with and the business. So what happens in the summer is I get a lot of rescheduling or canceling because everybody's so busy. They just can't do it all. And there's something to be said for that's okay. I look at that time as gifts of time when my clients have to reschedule or even pause It's okay to pause. It's okay to choose yourself. It's okay to have downtime. And we have one more scheduled trip coming up this next week that we're going to do. It's only a 7-hour drive, much better than a 9 or a 10. And we're going to go spend some time with family and relax. Like there's not a bunch of activities planned, which I'm grateful for. And then we come back and it's not long and we're going into school here on the West Coast. Some people at this point have already had their kids start school, but on the West Coast, we start a little bit later. And I have Labor Day weekend open, nothing scheduled. And it's hard right now because I'm wanting to fill it so badly. But part of me's like, just let it be. If something comes, be open to it. So, what happens when we are too busy? When we're too busy, things move super fast. We can get sick. And we can also consciously try to make ourselves too busy. My daughter called me out on this one day. She's like, Mom, you're always just kind of running and doing things. And I'm like, I know. There's always a lot to do. There just is. I mean, owning a house with all the responsibilities, as well as owning my own business and doing my best to make sure she has the best life that I can provide for her. It feels busy. But it's also the importance of that downtime and just having connection time and letting both of us be bored. So I encourage you to schedule or unschedule and have that open time where there's nothing. There's nothing that is pressing and you have to do. I always say that it should be mandatory. 1 week out of the year, I go sit on a beach and I don't do anything. Doesn't always happen, but I strive for that because I know that that's what I need for myself, just for my downtime and to rejuvenate. Because as I'm thinking about, it's going to get busy again. Here we are, mid-August, and I'm feeling relaxed and good. But I know come October, my head's going to be spinning a little bit because it's going to be busy. But I'm a scheduler. I can schedule it all and figure it all out. The other part is what happens for me is I want to have all of the experiences in my life. And that's what can get in the way and part of my overscheduling and like going to places with my daughter and doing things. Like we are about to go on this trip and see family, and it's family that has never met my daughter. It's my mom's cousins, and we don't have a lot of family that are still around. And as I was talking with my mom about this trip, I'm like, we don't know how long these people are going to be around. Like this trip is for you and for us to spend time with them, because I am not one that says, I wish I would have. I don't wait and say, oh, well, I'm going to do all those trips when I retire. Heck no. I'm doing it now because life is short. And that's what also can bring in a bit of my overscheduling, because I don't want to have regrets and I want to have experiences, as I think we all do. So I'm going to leave with you this quote by Audre Lorde. I have come to believe that caring for myself is not self-indulgent. Caring for myself is an act of survival. Thank you for tuning in to Snack Leadership. I hope you felt inspiration, motivation, and felt your mindset spark. Snack Leadership is recorded and produced by myself, Ali Camilletti, and music by Shireen Amini.